Welcome! Congratulations for completing your first week of effective public speaking online and uploading your very first speech video, your introductory video. I understand that there was a lot of frustration with trying to get the video up on Moodle and into the forum, and I apologize if you were frustrated and the directions weren't clear. This first speech, if it did not come in by 6 p.m., that's okay, because it's the first time, and anytime we do anything for the first time, it's really difficult, and technology can be great, and it can be wonderful, but it can sometimes be a hindrance. So as long as you got it posted up by Wednesday of this week, I'm okay. So don't stress out, and I tried to make that clear when you emailed me, so don't worry about that. Later on in this week, too, I will be sending out an announcement via email about when your interview session via Skype will be. And I will get on Skype this week and make sure that we make all the good connections that we need to. So be looking out for that. So thank you for emailing me your Skype name and your preference. If I already have someone scheduled for that time, I will email you and ask for another alternate time. So be prepared for that as well. As you're looking at the introductory speeches, please make sure that you write something back to your classmates so that we know who's in the class and that you can make that connection. Being online can be very isolated, so let's try to come together as much as possible. Some things that you can look forward to this week. One, you do have a homework assignment, and that is to look at, well, first of all, to practice your informative speech, which is due no later than April 10th, which is next week or the week after. Please make sure that you practice uploading on YouTube. The informative and the persuasion you really have to have in by that very end day. You can certainly post earlier than that. You cannot post later than that. So remember, it's April 10th, that Wednesday by 6 p.m. And I'm looking at my notes really quickly, and make sure that it's in week 4. And it'll always say, upload introductory speech here. So even if it says like introductory speech, that just may be the guidelines for it, and you don't need to upload anything. It will say upload introductory speech, and that's where you need to upload your speech from. And it's always in the week that it's due. So you'll have to look and see. I think it's April 8th through the 14th, but it's in that week 4. Upload introductory speech there. And make sure that's done by April 10th, which is a Wednesday, by 6 o'clock p.m. And so that's your next 2 speeches. Remember, those speeches you are required to have an audience of at least 6 people. And I only need to see the back of their heads. It's one continuous shot. There's no editing. There's no stopping. There's no pausing. You should really try to do that with all of your speeches. The best way to become a better public speaker is to practice, and to practice again and again, which is why a part of your homework says to practice your informative speech 2 to 3 hours. I break it down like this. The informative speech is 6 to 8 minutes. Then you do it once in the morning, and you do it once in the afternoon, and you do it once or twice in the evenings. The more you practice, the more comfortable you become with that speech, so that it's just like a matter of talking to your best friend or talking to someone about a subject that you really like. When selecting a topic, you really need to find something that you feel passionate about. I'm an animal lover. I love dogs, cats, not fond of snakes, but any other kind of animal I love. So a good topic for me would be that. It's also a topic that would relate to our audience. Audience analysis is super important. Who is your audience? Where do they come from? What might their views be? Because you want to make sure that you keep them engaged at all time. So this week, you are reading Chapter 24, Chapter 7, Chapter 8, Chapter 9, Chapter 10, and Chapter 13, which tells you about the informative speech. It tells you about selecting a topic. It tells you how to develop your materials, which is your main points. It's how to locate that material using the internet, because the internet is great and it's wonderful, and we can look up so much information, but you got to be careful that it's credible information. And then it also helps you to talk about how to outline a speech. So you have a homework assignment. You have your introductory speeches that were due today, and you have your forum. Every week you have a forum. This forum is simply tell someone, say, hey, it was so nice to meet you. I'm an art history major too, or whatever, and kind of make those connections. So that's your homework, and then that's the week in a glance. Last week you guys did great, even with Moogle being down on our first day of class. So let's keep that up. Make sure. Also, when you're dealing with online classes, you have to be patient. Sometimes things don't work the way that they're supposed to. With that being said, don't wait till the very last minute to upload your video. Upload your video as soon as you can. That way, you know that it's going to be in the time that it's due, and there's not that extra pressure. My advice to you is to record your video, look at it and analyze it. You know, if you want to record it again, see if you can get those 6 people again, and do it again. If you want, they may not be willing to, but look at your video and then upload it 2 or 3 days before it's even due. That way, it just saves you a bunch of stress. We're in a really fast-paced class, so you want to make sure that you stay as open as possible. This is the end of the video for this week. I'm going to post an introductory video of myself in just a few minutes, and I'm going to come back in the week and kind of nail down some of the chapters and some of the points that I think are important. So probably by, I would say no later than Thursday, I will have another video uploaded about going over the chapters and the points that I think that are really important. So you have your homework assignment to practice your introductory speech. You also have one that says, and I printed it off right here so that we can all see, and with that it says to review 2 of the speeches that are listed below. And it can be 2 of your choices. Type a 1-page analysis of each speech, critiquing the speech elements: adaptation, content, organization, language, nonverbal, and vocal behavior. And then also do a brief paragraph of the historical significance. You want to know the historic significance because you want to make sure that puts everything into perspective. And that goes back to that audience analysis, which is so important for you to really know your audience, just like these speakers did. By viewing speeches, it helps us to become a better speaker. We get ideas from them. We can see how their vocal changes work for them. Anytime that you want to deliver a speech, you want to think about pauses, effective use of pauses. When you say something important, and maybe have like a 1-second pause there so that the audience can catch up and be like, oh, that's so important for us to know. So you have a homework assignment, you have to practice your introductory speech, get that written. The more practice, the better. And as always, please email me if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon.